Hi and welcome. This is Will. That kind of sounds weird. This is Will. Let's go with I am Will. I write fantasy and automotive fiction. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up any photo editor. I'm using Adobe Photoshop. It doesn't matter what you use, honestly, as long as it allows for layering. And that's pretty much the most important thing to be able to work in multiple layers. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull up Google and we are going to just do a search. I've already pulled it up for island satellite views. What this is going to give us is just a reference of a bunch of different shapes that you see in the real world. That way, when you're making your map, you can base things off of what really exists and build from there. So I'm just going to scroll around. I'm going to look. That's a pretty cool design. That is Virgin Islands. So let's do this. Copy, copy image, and just paste it on there. And then we're just gonna get a few different images that look interesting. So I've got a few resources here. So the first thing I want to do, yeah, you can see the coastline. You can kind of get a sense. So what I like looking at is a sense of how was this island made? What is causing the shapes we're seeing here? And what you can see here is you have a coastline that follows this mountain range and then it just ends. But then on this side, there's no mountains, it's all flat. So what's happening here is you have, at one point in time, there was land on this side as well. But what's happening is the ocean currents and everything are coming probably from this direction, right? And you can see it tapers off, so they're probably coming in like this. And then they're striking this coastline almost directly. And then on this side, they're kind of just letting it be. Now I'm making assumptions. That's just how I see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of move this one up here. I've already kind of looked at how that was. And then I'm going to do this one. Now this one's too big. I'm going to resize it. Now you kind of have the same thing going on here. And you can actually see this in the white water. Right? You see a lot of white water here on this side, but nothing on this side. That means you're getting more impact on the island, more erosion here. Now we've already looked at the one above, and all the erosion is coming from this way. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to rotate this one to kind of line up to that same direction of water. So water is coming in here, causing white, and then coming in here, but leaving this area less touched. So that's going to make for that to be more believable when I composite these. I'm going to go here, and then this one, that image quality is crap. But I like the shape. Right here, what we can see is we have some water getting through here, carving a lane. Um, it looks to me like it quite possibly has a mountain range over here and a flat. So I'm going to keep this in that same direction orientation it is now, and I'll move it aside. And then I'll do the last one. So the last one we have, the coastline is directly in here, bigger here, but then it seems to taper off. So I'm going to rotate this like that because we've already decided based off of this one, the water's gonna be coming in at like a 45 degree. So I'm gonna hit that. So now all my land masses are in the same orientation, the way I think they would form naturally. That way, when I composite these, it'll make for a slightly more believable map. Now the next thing is actually just to do a quick outline of all these. I'm just going to do simple uh, black and white here, and then I'm going to make the map. Now, again, because I'm just working off of the shape, I'm going to make a quick shape, and then I'm going to change it to an eraser, and then I'm going to carve. Oh, that's not an eraser. Eraser. It is an eraser. I am dumb. Alright, I need to do a new layer, and then I will do this again. So, make a quick outline. Alright, and then take your eraser, and then carve, and actually, okay. So, I'm going to change the hardness here to this guy here, 100% hardness. I want a crisp edge. So I'm going to kind of go here, give it a little bit of wavy outline. I come in here, carve in here, and then carve in there. And I know it's, and then come in here. Your coastlines are like, what's that word? Fractals. Coastlines are like fractals. The further away from them you are, the less detail. Every time you zoom into them, you get a new amount of detail, new amount of detail, new amount of detail. And the closer you zoom, the more detail you start seeing, the more imperfections you start seeing. Since we're just trying to design a map that's very broad to give you a sense of like scale, you don't need to worry about fine coastal details as much, but you do want to make sure these shapes at least hint that there's some erosion and stuff happening. So I have my first shape done. So I'm going to move this guy off to the side, and I'm going to make that one disappear. So here are shapes. Now, we have an idea of how all the water's hitting them this way. So we're just going to actually take all these layers and turn it into a single landmass. Let's see where everything works. And you can resize. So I want, I'm gonna, if you rotate it like I just went to do, remember this is the main area we kind of designed to be um, the leading area. You don't need to do that. You don't need to keep it that way. You can change it whatever you want, but that's just kind of how I like imagining. So we're gonna do this. Bam. I really like that because what this gives us is a believable flow. We have the water coming this way, hitting this landmass, hitting this landmass, and then going through, and then tapering off and tapering off. So this right here can believe you can believe that this is water that has gone here, water that's collected in this area and gone this way. There's a lot of believable things. Plus, it just looks pleasing to me. A lot of this comes down to, wow, do I believe that's a real landmass? Like when I look at that, right? So I can go there. Again, this little section, now I can do this right there, give it a tail. I can make it an island. But what I want to do is by doing it and leaving this section open, I'm creating a bay. Um, and by creating a bay, I have created a central point for my world. Bays are very important in the world. Um, Most major cities are going to be near some type of trade or water port, water feature. I also designed it. Now I know there's going to be a river coming through it. That informs me a lot. So I'm going to do that. And then my last one, this guy here, which was my lead, maybe we do an island. So maybe we do that. So this kind of has some rhyme and reason to it. You've got a little bit of water coming here, coming around, coming here, flowing. Kind of see how this landmass was made. Um, I think it looks believable. So that's what matters, right? So for me, that's the first and most important part is, does this shape look like something out of a real world?